Hello everyone, my name is Simo Ayat and I'm a junior architect in Paris. And today I'm going to share with you some tips that you can learn to prep your mind for productivity. We're going to discuss 4 key ideas revolving around technology that we need to be aware of because they keep us from achieving higher levels of productivity and they also negatively impact our learning. I started this channel with the purpose of creating a strong community of driven people looking to succeed in work and in life, to share with each other's tips on how to boost productivity and growth. So I will be sharing with you each week for the upcoming years my best tips for personal growth, and it will also be much appreciated if you can share with everyone in the comment section your personal tips so that everyone can benefit. So I started the video by telling you about 4 key ideas related to technology that everyone should be aware of because they slow us down from reaching our true potential. First one is called digital deluge. As we already know, we are constantly flooded by information coming from, well, practically everywhere. An article from BBC says that in the course of a day, the average person in a Western city is said to be exposed to as much data as someone in the 15th century would encounter in their entire life. And this non-stop stream of informations has a negative impact on our body and mind. Another study entitled Dying for Information shows us that 60% of participants say that they are generally too tired for leisure activities due to the information overload. So what can we do about it? 2 things. First is to dedicate some technology free time by taking 30 minutes each day away from all devices to let our minds wander and be bored for a moment. Science has shown that boredom strengthens our memory, clears out our heads, and gives time to our brains to process informations and make sense of what is going on. It is no wonder that a big number of our best ideas came to us when we were actually doing nothing, just bored. So what would you do if you actually wanted to bore yourself and you just do it? The second point is to limit the quantity of information around you. Coming from your phone, computer, TV, objects, reduce the number of unimportant things, or at least do it in your productivity space. Make it a zero information zone where the only information available is the one that you work with. Second key point is digital distraction. Why is it a bad thing? Well, the digital world competes for our attention. Distraction has changed to take another form, which is all but disturbing. And digital distraction is now everywhere. Every commercial, TV series, or app is trying to get you to pay attention to it. There is a study done by the University of Columbia where 2 large groups of people were asked to partake in a meal. First group was prohibited to access their phone, while the second one could. Well, in the end, they did a survey for each one, and the results clearly showed that the group who used their phone were far more distracted and enjoyed their dinner less. I know this is all common knowledge, but it makes us understand on a deeper level that the sweet digital distraction doesn't come without a price, and that could be our special moments we have with friends and family. The point is that undistracted human connections are an essential component to our social fabric, coming from the ancient human gatherings to this day, and I don't think we should give it up that easily for some dopamine fix. Distraction also has some physical impact on our bodies, shifting attention from one app to another to work a bit, then read an email and see one last notification. Well, makes parts of our brain overconsume oxygenated glucose, and we burn through the fuel so quickly that we feel tired and disoriented after a short period. It happens to all of us when we make a light work session where we permit ourselves to check some YouTube videos from time to time, answer friends on Instagram or Twitter, and after 2 hours of sitting there, we are already tired while our work didn't progress much. So, what should we do then? Well, how I see it, if you're really motivated to do the work, then you need to turn off all distractions for your work time, but only if you're motivated. And honestly, it may seem hard at the beginning because our brains have this wired habit that normally it will get distractions in that place or at that moment. So for the few first moments, it will definitely crave it, but once your mind understands that you are willing to do just the work, and once you create a small momentum, then it would be really easy to keep going on. Third key point is digital dementia, a term coined by the neuroscientist Manfred Spitzer. While dementia is an impairment in our abilities to remember, think, and make decisions in our everyday life. So, how does the digital world cause us dementia? Isn't it supposed to augment our brains and give it access to information? Well, yes, and that is part of the problem. Let's start with some simple examples. How many phone numbers did we know growing up? At least our parents and some best friends, maybe, right? Is it still the case? Or back into our friends' houses by memory. How many friends can we visit now without a GPS in our car? By relying so much on the digital tools, we deteriorate our short and long term memory pathways from underuse. Because instant information we get from technology is easily forgotten. But it doesn't disturb us because the information remains accessible. So, by not forcing ourselves to recall that information, we impact our ability to make it a long term memory. So, should we remember hundreds of numbers and drop the GPS? Of course not. I personally think that the level of which we want to outsource our brains to our small devices is a personal choice. But we should at least be aware of it and be aware of the consequences. Maybe next time that we encounter an information, we'll ask if we want to retain it and train our memory in the process, or we just want to ignore it. One pro argument of outsourcing brains to our smart devices is that we think that by doing so, we keep our brains lighter and faster, like a computer, working better when it's not loaded with informations. But based on research, our brains behave more like a muscle than a hard drive. If you want to have a good memory, you need to work it whenever you have the chance. Even with simple things like remembering your credit card number or any information, learn the habit of memorizing stuff. So we talked about digital deluge of having to live with a huge amount of information, digital distraction, as all our devices compete for our attention, and digital dementia, where we underuse our memory by relying on technology. The last supervillain is digital deduction. Like digital dementia, digital deduction is emerging from the overuse of the good side of technology. It is based on our reliance on technology to solve every problem we face. If we want to know how to feel about a hot subject, we can look it up and have hundreds of opinions and analysis that we get to choose from. This overuse weakens our cognitive skills, such as critical thinking, problem solving, or creativity. And these aptitudes are the reason we can create, build, and advance on both the personal and societal level. There is a reason that students who don't use their computers in class will perform better at a surprise quiz. It's because they are continually reflecting and engaging their minds with the lesson. There is another way to look at it. We usually dislike it when someone takes all the big decisions in a group, even if that person is qualified. Why? Because we know that thinking for ourselves is a privilege, and walking our own path is the way to go. So why should we be okay with giving technology this privilege? There is no doubt whatsoever that the access to different opinions has a huge positive impact on our communities, and that good people are sharing with us knowledge that we would have never found by ourselves. But if we just compare the thinking process in a position where you have to make a choice by yourself and one where you could use technology, you would clearly see the big difference in those two positions. First of all, we train our brains. Have you ever had to take a decision that literally made your head hurt? Well, that's just your brain working its muscles, and by doing so, we train it to be smarter every time. Secondly, we also improve our thinking process. Without technology, we tend to identify important ideas, enhance them, connect them, organize them, and summarize the whole process into a decision. So we are sharpening our cognitive skills. As a conclusion for the video, I just want to say that technology has changed my life for the better, but I try to not rely on it whenever I can. When we started having cars, elevators, escalators, we saw the impact it had on people's health. That doesn't mean, of course, that these inventions are bad, but now that everyone understood the negative impact, they found ways to compensate by doing more physical exercise. So, for example, if you rely heavily on your car, you will try to do some light workout sessions at home to compensate. And that is the thing that I retain from all of this. Instead of waiting 20 to 50 years for it to become a norm where everyone would have changed their relationship with technology, I think that we should get ahead of the curve and start to incorporate ways to compensate the side effects of using technology. The sooner anyone can achieve this, the better relationship he will have with technology. And the way we can do this is by using our brains as much as we can, finding a good balance. It can only make us smarter and make our brains healthier. Well, that was the end of my video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comment section below your thoughts about this subject and your personal tips to maintain balance with technology. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. Once again, thank you for watching and see you in my next video.